All right, welcome back. You guys have a fun 12 hours, half day. So, World War III ended. We won. Buy stocks. Spy. That was it. It's over. So, in the past 12 hours, last night, right? Um, the news is coming out, missiles, not rockets, like Iranian missiles were fired at U.S. bases. Prior to that, earlier in the day yesterday, Trump's tweeting that he will disproportionately retaliate if they do anything. And he'll take out 52 sites. 52 to, I don't know, I guess those in the 80s, like 52 hostages or something. He's talking up. Trump's talking strong. Like, we will wipe you out. We will wipe you off the planet. Moab, whatever. And WW3's trending. Millennials are freaking out. They're crashing the one of the government websites for the draft, like trying to check if they could get drafted. Um, uh, and then everyone's preparing for war. Like, and I am pretty much looking at this like, well, he has to do something because he's talking, Trump's talking strong. He can't look weak. And just the way he's talking and tweeting, I'm thinking right after those missile attacks, like, it's on. Now, he said he's going to have a press conference this morning, right? I have no idea what the date is. But, and what happened? Nothing. He backed down completely. He said no one was hurt. We're just gonna continue with our economic sanctions, which is BS because there's nothing left to sanction. I mean, Iran's been sanctioned as much as they could sanction them. So he pretty much just backed down, did nothing. Although there are troops being deployed, right? And everyone's just buying stocks. All-time highs. Gold last night rallied to 1613. It was a huge breakout. And I'm looking at that, I'm staying up late at night, looking at the news cycle, waiting to see if anything else pops off, if the US retaliates, this and that. And gold is just ripping higher, just breaking higher. The Dow sold off like 400 points in overnight. And I'm like, this is it. We're finally going to get that correction. Metals are just breaking higher. And I could actually get some sleep, I could sleep sound. And I'm going to wake up tomorrow much richer than today. That's what I'm thinking, right? So I go to sleep late. I stayed up all night. I'm like, whatever. I can sleep in. I'm just going to wake up to like massive gains. Life-changing gains. And then I wake up and I check, I walk into my office. I'm like, all right, here we go. Wiggle that mouse. And I'm like, what? Gold dropped from 1613 to, what was the low? To 1550. Literally around a $60 drop. And I'm just like, what did Trump do? Make peace talks with Iran? Like, so, what happened? Well, obviously the banks, the algos, they took that opportunity to smash metals. And all the speculators pretty much got wrecked. And nobody believes in the gold rally. And listen, I posted that Peter Schiff video. It was pretty good. I agree with what he's saying in his video that he posted last night. And look at this stuff. I mean, Trump's tweeting, had a very good meeting with the Saudis, right? So I'm like, okay, well, Saudis are direct competition with Iran. Now, listen, guys, my thoughts. Okay, so my thoughts on this entire conflict. Listen, it's much deeper than anyone talks about or knows. I've talked about the new Silk Road, right? The One Belt, One Road, which is China's ginormous trade route going through literally the world at this point, right? But it goes through Iran. So through Iran, they could connect to the Middle East, Europe, Russia, and even to like Africa. And that's why they're so important. And not just that, they found like a ton of more oil. And through China, it's a huge trade route, and oil will be supplied from Iran to China, Russia, and Europe. That's why Europe's so neutral on this, all right? I can see Europe totally going with, in the future, with China and Russia, because they're going to be so powerful and dominant, especially with that giant trade route. And let's face it, Europe just needs cheaper energy. All right, so in my opinion, it would be foolish to go into Iran, because Russia and China will back them. They will defend them. That's another reason why probably Trump backed down completely. And did he make the right decision? Yeah. I mean, it does not benefit the U.S. to go in there. It just doesn't. Now, if you look at the U.S. as from the standpoint of an empire, a global empire, yeah, they have to go in there so they could stop the next rising global empire, which is very evil, right? Like an axis between China and Russia. They're very evil. So the U.S. has to sort of stop that, but can they? That's the question. Can they? I don't think so. I think it would be just a tragedy. And the U.S. empire, it sort of has to. It's probably not gonna end with a bang, but with a whimper. Meaning they're not gonna go in there and start like World War III, and then you have to think about this, guys. Like strategically located, that area is easily accessible by Russia and China. And then you have the entire Middle East pissed off at the U.S. The U.S. just can't go in. I mean, there's bases surrounding Iran, but it's not going to be enough. And, China has endless people. Russia has very good war technology. It would not end well. It would be a lose-lose. I think it would be a long-term just lose for the U.S. I think the U.S. is just going to slowly eventually pull out of there. They have to. I mean, it's like, I never support war unless you're getting invaded, right? And I just think Trump talks strong, right? Like we're the best. Like his steaks are the best in the world. But honestly, he's not that stupid. And I don't think he wants, war. So, and then there's the question of, is he really in control anyways? He has advisors, we don't know how controlled he is, how his hands are tied behind his back. I mean, when you have Israel literally backing down, that they're scared. They're all scared. Because if Iran gets propped up and gets support from China and Russia, guys, nobody wants this in the world. It would be so tragic on such epic proportions. It really would be WW3. So he made the right decision. So, and for the assholes out there cheering for this, so their, stocks go up. If you buy war stocks, if you buy, metals, and you're hoping for all this to blow up in the worst possible way so you could profit off of that, I mean, immorally, that is that it's disgusting. And you know, the universe, karma's for real. All right, guys, just warning you. I've been around for a while, 30 some years. I believe in karma. I've tested the waters way more than I should have. All right, so all right. So what's going to happen with the markets and metals? Well, I wasn't expecting any of this just last week for metals, and I was still expecting 1600 for gold and 1920 for silver. Despite all of this, right? Despite pretty much having a very close call, right? I mean, look at this. Iran called the US's bluff. They did. And they won, pretty much. I mean, Trump just completely backed down. So, which is a good thing, right? I think the best possible scenario played out. Now, does that warrant for the stock market to just start going higher and higher? Not even like, it literally didn't even dip. It barely dipped. It dipped overnight and then just shot back up. No, I mean, the stock market is still overdue for a correction. The only question is this going to just be like a huge melt up where it just goes completely vertical, right? Here's a Bloomberg article. Red flags emerge with record high stocks brushing aside political turmoil. I mean, here's a monthly chart of the S&P 500. Look at this. You know what? Let me get let me pull up the Wall Street cheat sheet for you new guys, because my channels are actually growing, surprisingly. And let me show you guys this Wall Street cheat sheet that everyone knows about in crypto land. I'll make a separate video talking about BTC. Alright, here's the Wall Street cheat sheet, right? Look at this. Shoots up like this, and then down she goes, right? And when any market goes vertical, like 90 degrees straight up, that's the melt up euphoria. Nothing could go wrong. This time's different. We're all rich. Everyone's paper rich, right? Boom. Here's another chart. Look at this. See, look at this. This is gold, actually. Just go straight up. This was the bubble in 2011 for gold, I guess. All right. So, where was my... Oh, God. I have so many tabs open. I hope nothing crashes. All right. So, here's S&P 500. Look at this. It's starting to go up a little vertical here, right? Now, if it does shoot up to 3,600, 3,500, I will be very sad because my all-time high call is wrong at that point. I'll make it again if I have to. But then it's gone straight vertical. If it goes straight up for the next like 2-3 months, then literally, the market is ignoring everything. I don't think corporate revenues are going to be great. For the first quarter of 2020. We got the repo market. They're just pumping it full of cash. Like the printing presses are like overheating, and they're pumping so much money into the banking system. And at that point, it's pretty much melt up bubble phase. Now, I thought we were already in the melt up. The past 4 months, I'm like, all right, we're melting up for the past 4 months. I mean, we had the huge rebound from the end of 2018, beginning of 2019. We had a huge correction. And then once we made new highs, I'm like, all right, we're going to melt up. All right, we've been melting up for like 4 months now. Is this sucker going to melt up for like 2 to 3 more months? I hope not. Because the more it melts up, the bigger the crash, but I don't care. I mean, I'm going to profit either way, right, with my mining stocks. But I mean, at this point, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But can it? Sure, we could melt up to 34, 35, 3600 on the S&P. And at that point, it's absolutely asinine ridiculous. Everything's being ignored. PE ratios, revenue, corporate profits, everything. The repo market, global slowdown, everything. The new talking point on MSM is US is energy independent. We're a net exporter. We're energy rich, guys. We're oil rich now. We're the new Saudis. So so I guess the markets will just keep going higher based on that. I don't know. The debt is just piling up. Nobody looks at the debt. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the election coming up just yet. The market has priced in 100% guarantee Trump's gonna win. So maybe it can melt up for a few more months. I don't know. That's how irrational everything is at this point. Now, I'm still thinking we're going to get a correction soon. We should. According to my TA, my technical analysis that I've been doing for the past few weeks on all my videos, I still expect a correction. I still expect gold and silver to go higher. But, this sell-off was pretty intense. $60 just sell-off in a matter of hours. All right. So Morgan Stanley central bank liquidity surge could push S&P to 3,500. Yeah. See, that's the problem. This is what I'm worried about. So am I changing my mind that we're going to get a correction in this week, next week? Not yet. I still think we're going to get a correction, some sort of pullback, something. But it is pretty ridiculous how the market just brushed off all of this insanity in the past day and just kept going higher today. It just ignored everything. That means it's completely detached from reality. Look at this. Here's the Fed's balance sheet. As the Fed's balance sheet goes higher, the market just keeps going higher despite any rationale. It's literally like the Fed prints, goes into repo, the banks lend out more loans, and then everyone just buys more stocks with it. It's insane. Or maybe the banks buy stocks, propping. I don't know, guys. I don't know. So but my TA is telling me, we need a correction. It doesn't make sense when something goes straight up. But you know what? There's a saying. Markets can stay irrational longer than you could stay liquid. By the way, I never say short. It really pisses me off when people go in the comment section. Yeah, man, I've been short. I'm like shorting. I'm like, who the hell said anything about shorting? I said buy mining stocks. I didn't say short. I short Tesla, and I haven't been shorting for some time now, and that thing just almost hit $500. All right, so you will get destroyed if you keep trying to short. Guys, shorting is the worst. Being a short seller is the worst and most risky thing you could do, especially in the past few decades. It never pays off. In shorting, you never get those huge gains like when you're longing. That's why I would rather short the market through longing metal mining stocks. Because that's how you get those 5, 10x, 15, 50x returns. When you short something, what's the largest possible return you could get? 100%, which is never going to happen. When you short something, you're lucky if you get like a 40, 30% gain from shorting something. But the upside risk is infinite. That's why you don't short. I rarely short. All right. So let's take a look at what's going on. Here's the 10-year yield, right? I still expect the 10-year yield to drop still. This is a 3-day chart. Let's just stay there for now. Let's take a look at a macro view here. The VIX, didn't popped yesterday, but it's all the way down. Listen, not much has changed from my last TA. I mean, the S&P, the Dow, all of the indices are overextended, and they're coming up on 8 and 9s on the TDI. The heat maps are getting red again, and the oscillators are all overextended. I'm still expecting some sort of correction or pullback, despite all the euphoria. Like right now in the 3-day, the S&P's on an 8 count. So the next 3 days, by the end of this week, will be on a 9 sell for the S&P. Let's take a look at the Dow. I can't see it though, but what is this on? Give me a second. It's also on an 8 count. I'll look at gold in a second. Look at the dollar. It just did nothing. It didn't. So that was interesting, right? The dollar did not rally on possible war, which is a sign of weakness behind the dollar. Because people are starting to, price in the fact if the U.S. actually starts another major conflict, its debts are going to explode. There was just some articles and research that came out, like Iraq and Afghan has cost the U.S. like $6 trillion or something. It's insane. You know how much money that is if you divide it up amongst the 330 million Americans? Like each American would probably get a lot of money. Actually, someone do the math. I'm not going to do it. Someone do the math and put it in the comment section. How much would $6 trillion if you divide it up by 330 million? How much would that be if you cut everyone a check? You know how much economic growth you could have had if you, instead of spending it on blowing shit up or blowing mud huts up, you just reinvested it into growing the economy on business growth and capital ventures and whatnot. Just putting it out there, All right. Oh yeah, I didn't speak about the petrodollar, like defending the global dollar through global empire and geopolitical positioning. That's a whole different video. I don't want to go into it. All right, so Nasdaq, MACD, it's still overextended, guys. This is a daily chart of the Nasdaq. Let's take a look at the 3-day. Or you know what? I just made a whole new layout. If I could find it. It's really nice. Okay. You know what? Here we go. So I put all the indices on here. The S&P, Dow, Nasdaq, Russell 2000, the FANG index. FANG index, that's been shooting higher and higher. Like I said, these major companies are just dragging the entire stock market higher because everything is pretty much in a cookie cutter index fund. So if everyone just keeps buying 5 of the largest companies on the on the stock markets, on the equities markets, then it kind of just pulls up all of the index funds. That's why when these major companies have a correction in their stock prices, like it's just gonna drop like an anchor. Like you just dropped a bowling ball. So let's take a look at the Russell. That's what I find very interesting as a leading indicator for the rest of the indexes, right? The Russell doesn't look that healthy. That's 2,000 mid-sized companies in the U.S. It's not making all-time highs like the rest of them. Here, let's take a look at the weekly. It's not, look. And it's the RSI is still overextended on the weekly, MACD. By the way, the oscillators look the same for all the indexes. Listen, guys, I still think we're going to get a pullback and a correction. And this sell-off in gold and silver today is a gift. It's a buy the dip opportunity. I still think, the market might trade sideways for another week or two. I don't care. It's a gift. I'm just going to keep accumulating and buying and buying. So go to my website and buy my report so I can make more cash here. So I can continue to keep buying these mining stocks and load up, add to my leveraged ETF position. That took a whammy today, right? I was sitting on huge gains. Just got cut in more than half. I lost like 60% of the gains. I haven't sold yet. I'm still holding long because I'm fine. Because I bought at such low levels. Like, I'm still in profit. Decent size profit, right? But I'm just going to hold. I'm not going to... Because I'm looking for a rebound on gold. Hold on. Let me pull up the gold chart. Just give me a second here. So, they sold off, metal sold off so much that I expect a rebound. Now, listen, on the 3-day chart, we have a 9 sell and a shooting star here. Look at this. Perfect textbook shooting star. So this actually signals a reversal. Let's go to a daily. So this candle, and it's a 9 sell. I mean, this looks horrendous. It looks like gold's going to go back down to 1,500. That's what it looks like when you look at the charts on the daily and the 3-day, which were actually very bullish just a few days ago, right? And we fell out of this range-bound area. By the way, I mean, these are charts that I give the private groups. So... And I did give them a warning. We were on a 9 sell today. And then I went to sleep. And I don't know if any of the private group guys who trade leveraged ETFs or ETFs non-leveraged, doesn't matter, if they actually took profits. If they did, good for you, man. You definitely, if I was up, I would have taken profits. Maybe. I don't know. Because it was falling so fast. Maybe I just would have held on. But it looks bad on the daily and the 3-day. Any way you look at it. But, let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly's on a 6 count. Technically, there's 7, 8, 9, 3 more weeks of upside in gold. Just looking at the weekly. Let's take a look at the oscillators. And there's still more momentum to the upside on the oscillators on the weekly. So, the question is... Let's take a look at the monthly real quick. Here's the monthly. The question is this just a knee-jerk reaction sell-off? Also manipulation, right? Is this just the speculators who don't believe, right? So I want a bull market to rise on a wall of worry. So everyone just kind of selling this morning based on Trump's little speech is actually a good sign for contrarians because that means that no one believes in this still. And I know nobody believes in this still because these mining stocks are supposed to be like 10 times the value that they are right now, considering the price of gold and silver. Well, not silver, but gold. Because the last time gold was anywhere around 1,600, the mining stocks were... valued, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 10 times more than they are today. So nobody believes in the metals sector that it's in a bull market. Still, nobody believes in it. Nobody. It's still beginning of the party. Except for you guys who've been listening to me because it seems like we're in a halfway through a bull market. We're not. We're not. We're still in the beginning. It's just that guys, when equities finally go into a bear market or we start getting real inflation, that's when the party really gets started. The retail investors, the average taxi drivers and barbers and mom and pop, those people are going to start buying our stocks, mining stocks, like a year from now, 2 years from now. So I'm telling you, the party's not even started. The question is, right now, is this sell-off going to continue? Well, I'm still holding long. I'm not sure. It all depends on if equities sell off. The part that I'm really not sure about is the shorts, right? The banks, can they keep pushing the price down lower? Basically, what I'm saying is I'm not sure about the manipulation, how effective it's going to be in the next week or two. Because technicals on the intermediate, which is the daily and the 3-day, are telling me we might go retest 1500. So let's take a look at the short term, the 12-hour and lower time frames. This looks like shit on the 12-hour. It looks like more downside on the 12-hour for gold. Like we're going back down to 1500. Let's take a look at the 6-hour. 6-hour is, it's neutral, slightly negative. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. 4-hour time frame. Neutral, slightly negative. 3-hour time frame. Let's say neutral. Possibly ready to give us a sort of a bounce. I don't know if it'll be a rebound, but it could give us a bounce. And then it's going to run into resistance at 1580. And then if it falls back down, then we'll get a head and shoulders on the 3-hourly time frame. Here, let me draw it. Head and shoulders, which is bearish, right? If we get a bounce and it can't break above 1580, falls back down to 1560, we'll get a head and shoulders, and then it'll down she goes to retest the 1500 breakout on gold. And this is a 3-hour time frame. So it's difficult right now, right? So one of my strategies, right? My rules is if you don't know what's going to happen and you're in profit, just take profit, hold on to your cash, and then with your trading positions, and then wait to see some sort of confirmation on what's going to happen next. Because you don't want to just keep holding back down to 1500 and then it rebounds. I'd rather just take profits now, and then if it goes to 1500, I'll start loading back up on my ETF positions. The question is, what if this was a shakeout event and the equities, right, the S&P, NASDAQ, and the FANGs, all that, finally start correcting by the end of this week in a big way. And then metals just shoot higher, ignore that 9 sell, ignore the TDI indicator, and just go even higher. And we, so here's a trick that a lot of people don't know about. This doesn't always happen, right? But when you get a huge wick up like this, this is a 1-hour chart. Let's go to a 4-hourly. When you get wicks like this up, yes, usually there's a sell-off, right? But what happens a lot of the times is the price always actually will rally back up to where it wicked and then consolidate a little more and then just break up to the upside. That happens a lot. I don't know what that's called, but I've noticed that over the years, right? So whenever something wicks up, although you have to be, you have to be cognizant of where you are economically, fundamentally, and within a giant super cycle, right? So we're in a bull market for metals. So that's why I would think that that's more likely that the price will revisit where it wicked than this is a shooting star inverse hammer and it just goes down for the count for a long time. Like if I saw this on Bitcoin, then yeah, because it's in a bear market, then I expect it to go down even further. But because this is a bull market for metals, I actually see the price going back up and revisiting this, right? If that makes sense. I think this week is very crucial. So if you're trading, right? This is how I'm playing it personally. Not financial advice. If this rebounds and can't break back above 1580 and gets rejected and starts falling again, then I'm just going to take profits. And then wait to see what happens next. Because it might just trade sideways and consolidate. Obviously, if it keeps falling lower and lower, like if 1550 is taken out again, then or if it's taken out, then yeah, I'm taking profits and just waiting to see what happens. It doesn't mean I'm going into an inverse position. Like if I want to short metals, like you could buy an inverse ETF. Doesn't mean I'm gonna do that either, because sometimes those don't even move, and then they won't move up. They'll just not move much and then drop again as the metals break higher. What you do is you just go into cash and you become patient and you watch and see. Right now I'm still holding long. We'll see tomorrow morning what happens. I'll have to make another video, because I'm waiting on some sort of confirmation from the markets that they're going to correct soon, like they should. So I don't want to make this a long video, guys. I'll make another video tomorrow. I'll maybe tonight I'll make another Bitcoin video. Depends how I feel, and then that's how we're gonna take this. Because listen, guys, the Nasdaq, the S&P, all of them they look ready for a correction. Just looking at TA. All right. Now, but again, like I said, I don't know if we're going to get a melt up, because it seems like the Fed's just literally pumping money into the markets, just making it go. It's like they want a blow off top, a giant blow off top. It almost looks like, which will end up in disaster. So here are all the indexes. And you know what's funny? Today ended. Here's the Nasdaq, right? Here's the daily. Look at this. Today ended down. It didn't end at an all-time high. So it looks like some smart money took some profits. Of course, this looks like some sort of consolidation here, which usually, this does look like a bull flag. It's a bull flag. I know that looks horrible, but bear with me. Give me a second. Piece of shit. Alright. So this looks like a bull flag. And then it'll just break out even higher and melt up to, like, I guess, Morgan Stanley's 3,500. I hope that doesn't happen. If that happens, metals are definitely going to take a huge hit, which is fine. It's fine. Gives us another chance to accumulate more before the big final move. which will happen this year, I believe. And then if this does happen, this will be the giant blow off top. And then, you know, earnings are going to come out soon, and that'll probably signal that the party's over. So I'm starting to change my mind, but it's unfortunate that we couldn't even get a small correction or pullback so we could get gold and silver up around 1700, so we could take a bigger, you know, profit on our ETF positions. But that's just how this game's played with the commercial banks constantly shorting shit like metals, and they love to take advantage of these opportunities to crush. Guys, right now there's more short. Essentially the value or the market cap of the short positions on open interest on the futures market for gold is like, it's the highest record that it's ever been, and the price of metals isn't even at all-time highs, right? Compared to 2011, it's the highest it's ever been. It's actually so much that it's like more than like 2 years of supply that comes out of the ground annually, right? So it takes them massive amounts of confetti money, monopoly money, to keep this market under wraps. The problem is it's a global market, and everyone in the end is always out for themselves. Every country, right? And all the individuals in the world. And they can't suppress it forever. And all of this suppression that's been happening for about a decade now is just building up to one like moment in one day when the futures markets break and people start asking for delivery, and then you're just gonna see a moonshot, like maybe like a $500, $1,000 move in like a few days for gold, and then tens and tens of dollars for silver, right? When is that day gonna come? I don't know. We're probably still a bit away from that, but it's gonna come eventually. So, yeah. Go into my newsroom. You guys could see my thoughts and opinions in real time. I also share other videos that I like or agree with. And then check out my website. Now's a good buy the dip opportunity and scale in, especially if we fall back down to 1500 on gold. I will likely give you guys a TA update tomorrow as well. So for the guys who trade, right? Now, I would have taken profits this morning if I was up, but, you know, I wasn't. So, it is what it is. Alright, guys, smash some likes, leave anything in the comment section. I will comment on your comment. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Share my videos. It helps me grow, and then I will continue to do this. And, yeah, till next time.